And now I'd like to introduce President of Axiom Cyber Solutions, Shannon Wilkinson. Shannon.
Hi, good morning, everybody. So just want to take a little bit of time. I won't try to take too much of your time, but to talk to you about a few of the cybersecurity threats that all businesses, regardless of size, face. So we're going to talk about cybersecurity awareness for businesses today. So one thing that is important to highlight is that cybersecurity is not just an IT problem, it's an executive issue. So in today's business, it's the executives, it's the business owners that are held responsible whenever a cybersecurity incident occurs. So it is important that both the executives and the owners are aware of cybersecurity issues that face businesses, because if something does happen, it will fall to you as a business owner or executive to answer for what happened. And then also, cybersecurity is for all business, like I said, regardless of size. In fact, the Better Business Bureau has stated that 71% of cyber attacks occur at businesses with less than 100 employees. So hackers know that large enterprises like the huge casinos on the Strip or the JP Morgan Chases, now the Targets and the Sonys, are investing hundreds, if not millions of dollars into cybersecurity strategies, policies, hardware. And that has left the small to medium businesses in the United States a more attractive target to hackers, because they know that those businesses are not investing as heavily into cybersecurity strategy, hardware, etc. And of course, it's an easier target. So if you think of hackers as burglars, what are they going to pick? Are they going to pick the house that has the bars on the windows, the guard dogs, the alarm systems, or are they going to attack the house that has an open door or no bars on the windows? So hackers view businesses in the same way. So just a statistic, you probably hear about the latest data breaches. Vera Bradley, the handbag maker, is one of the latest to come out and have a hack of their payment system. And just in the first 6 months of 2016, there's been over 550 million data records compromised in the U.S. That is 35 data records every second that are compromised in the United States. So just staggering the amount of data breaches that happen these days. And they're getting bigger. As you know, Yahoo just had that massive 500 million, which could possibly be a billion record breach. So it's everywhere these days. And to that point, cyber criminals are everywhere. I mean, you can't go a day now without hearing about another hack or a denial of service attack on a business or an FBI investigation, HIPAA breaches, medical clinics that have been hacked, patient records that have been revealed. So it's just really everywhere. There's individuals that are trying to hack businesses for different reasons. There's, of course, state-sponsored hacking, but for small to medium businesses and probably most Las Vegas Chamber members, you probably do not have China and Iran and North Korea trying to hack into your systems, but it's the individuals that are trying to get to your data or get to your intellectual property that you need to worry about. Some of the costs of breaches are, of course, lawsuits. So if you do have a data breach, your customers that have had their data revealed in the data breach can turn around and sue you. Likewise, if you have a breach and your employees' information is compromised, then your employees can file a lawsuit against you, just as the employees of Sprout supermarkets have filed a class action lawsuit for having their W-2 information revealed in a hack. Of course, there's also the possibility of loss of revenue, and lastly, reputational harm to the business of just having your name out in the news of having a data breach or being hacked or being taken offline by a denial of service attack. Consumers typically lose some confidence in the company that has been in the news for those reasons. And there's a lot of different reasons that motivate hackers, but of course money is a primary motivation for hackers. They can steal credit card information, use that credit card for maybe a day or two before fraud detection picks up on it, but then they're able to buy things online and spend that money. Notoriety, kind of the bragging rights, where hackers will go on Twitter, they'll take over the social media accounts of CEOs, post a bunch of messages that they've successfully hacked a company. Of course, you know, Mark Zuckerberg was one of those people, and the group that did that gained a lot of attention of having hacked the founder of Facebook. Hackers also look to destroy data, so that's a bit of like corporate espionage, and they will also try to steal intellectual property. So if you are designing something new, notable, and game-changing, hackers will try to get into your systems in order to steal that information. In fact, there was a really great 60-minute segment on this back in January. They called it the Great American Brain Drain, but it talked about how hackers hacked into a large enterprise in Chicago and led to the loss of over $1 billion of revenue, layoff of hundreds of staff members, and really impacted that business in a terrible way. And then again, back to money, hacking businesses is highly profitable to hackers as well, because they are able to sell data records online, anywhere from $5 to hundreds of dollars per record. And the risk to businesses is actually quite profound. So 19 out of 20 organizations are at risk, according to a survey done at the RSA conference this year. So basically, only 1 out of 20 businesses are really, truly protected. And that partly goes back to the investment in cybersecurity strategy and taking cybersecurity as a serious thing that a business needs to consider. So I want to take a moment to talk about a couple major trends that businesses face these days. And one of the largest attack vectors that we see on businesses this year in 2016 is a vector called ransomware. We've seen a 400% increase in ransomware attacks since 2015. So just the amount of attacks are staggering. You probably remember the Hollywood Presbyterian Hospital in California. They were hit by a ransomware attack. They originally asked to pay over $3 million in ransom. They negotiated down to with the hackers down to $17,000. But if you think about that, that's a pretty big impact. It's actually surprising how many people don't actually know what ransomware is. So I'll just take a minute to explain what ransomware is. And ransomware is basically a new type of malware that hackers use to lock up computer systems in exchange for a digital currency called Bitcoin. And the hackers will encrypt the data and will not release the data or the keys to decrypt the data until the ransom is paid in full. So Hollywood Presbyterian, all their computer systems were locked up. They had to divert patients. They had to divert ambulances because they were not able to use their computer systems to intake patients when they were hit by ransomware. And healthcare is one of the most targeted, just recently overtaken by education as the most targeted industries for ransomware. And very surprisingly, going back to the risk is profound, but 60% of U.S. office workers are unaware of the ransomware threats. They don't know what ransomware is, they don't know the danger about ransomware, and they don't also know what to look for and what not to do should they get these email attachments that contain ransomware. So employee education in cybersecurity is one of the key ways to defeat these type of risks towards business. And then the number one way to beat ransomware, and I could say almost a silver bullet for ransomware, is actually to have good backups. If you have a backup, you are able to recover your business to the point before the ransomware is activated and continue operations. Now, one of the things that we need to caution businesses is don't just take a backup and think that your backups are okay. You have to test your backup procedures and your restore procedures to know that you would actually be able to recover if ransomware or something happened on your network that caused you to have an outage. A lot of times we have businesses that come to us after the fact, after they've tried to restore backups, after they've been hit with the ransomware, where they say that they've been taking backups for years, but once they try to restore, the backups are corrupted, they're not good, the process doesn't work. So it's very important not just to back up, but also test your procedures and then continue repeating backup and test, at least on an annual basis. Another big cybersecurity threat towards businesses is a vector called phishing. And phishing is basically the activity of defrauding a company by posing as a legitimate company or sender. Phishing typically targets user credentials so that they ask for a username and password. They'll send invoices appearing to be the CEO of the company saying, you need to pay this invoice right away, wire the money to this bank account. Or they are targeting sensitive employee information. So again, a hacker will send an email that appears to come from the company CEO, asking, particularly around tax time, asking for the W-2 information of the employees. A lot of times that information is sent without, a thought of, is this really the CEO? It's a little bit weird that he's asking me for this information. He's just down the hall, but, it is the CEO, so I'm going to go ahead and send the information to him. Just some samples of phishing emails. You get the email from FedEx saying, hey, we tried to deliver a package. And you think, well, I wasn't expecting a package, but okay, I'll click on the link to see what this package is. You get basically breach notifications from companies that say your data has been compromised. Click this link to go to this website and give me some information so you can have credit monitoring. You get phishing emails from your banks, or even as a cybersecurity company, our receptionist, who is surrounded by cybersecurity every single day, got an email from Apple asking her to verify some information on her iTunes account. And basically, before she had her coffee in the morning, she said, oh yeah, I'll go ahead and click on this link and verify my information. And then she spent the rest of the day trying to get hackers out of her iCloud account on the phone with Apple, because basically after she did that, she realized when she typed in her user credentials into this website that she was taken to, it didn't let her into the website, didn't take her into her Apple account. And then she got a text message that somebody had signed into her iCloud account on another device. So it's, again, really important to educate your employees because 50% of people will still click on links and emails that they shouldn't. So even people are aware of phishing, aware of it. It's before they have their coffee, or they're not really thinking, twice about the emails that they receive. If you're a customer of Bank of America or Wells Fargo and you get an email that has the bank's logo on it and has real seeming information on it, you usually don't think twice, but there are some precautions that you can take, like hovering over links to see where they'll take you before you actually click on them. Or even better is actually if you get an email from Bank of America asking to log into the site, go into your web browser and type in Bank of America's website yourself. Don't click on the link in the email. And the easiest way to defeat phishing schemes in your business is, of course, to train and educate your employees and continue the process, continue letting them know about the latest cybersecurity threats that face them every single day. They always talk about employees being the largest weakness for the business, but I like to say your employees are also your biggest asset in the fight against cyber criminals. Because if you train them, you make them aware, they can help you fight against the attempts to get into your business. So it's important not to discredit the value that your employees can have in your cybersecurity strategy. So some essentials for cybersecurity strategy, of course, touched on employee education. It's really important to let your employees know about cybersecurity threats, let them know, if they, in ransomware cases, if they get email attachments of Word documents or Excel documents, they open them and it pops up that they should enable macros. Tell them not to enable macros. Tell them how to be safe online. It's very easy to find out now who are the finance, who are the human resources people in businesses through social media, LinkedIn. So those people are being targeted specifically. Human resources people are getting resumes that contain ransomware. Finance people are getting invoices and Excel documents that contain ransomware. So it is very, very important to educate those folks about the danger of ransomware and how ransomware can affect the business. Another essential is to have a cybersecurity policy. You can make it part of your employee handbook about usage of email, surfing websites, and just make it part of your policy to be vigilant in cybersecurity for your company. Let people know, we're going to hold you accountable if you go to these sketchy websites and affect our business with ransomware. And then the last thing is there is no silver bullet for cybersecurity. There's no one thing that will protect your business from cybersecurity. It has to be a layered approach to really protect your business from cyber criminals. So if we were to pick the foundations, there are three fundamental things to a layered cybersecurity strategy for businesses. The first thing is to protect your endpoints, protect the computers, protect the mobile devices on your network with antivirus, anti-malware on every single one of them, because this is typically where the cyber criminals are going to get into your enterprise. They're going to send Sally in HR an email that is asking her for her user credentials, or they're going to send her a document that has a virus attached. If she has endpoint protection, she most likely will be protected from that. And antivirus, anti-malware companies, especially some of the new contenders in the market, are becoming a lot more smart about the way that they do protection for endpoints. They've gotten away from this, I have to know about the attack vector, I have to, keep my signatures up to date, and I have to know exactly what the hackers are doing. There are companies out there like, I would say, Bitdefender that have intelligent, not only signatures, but machine learning that can identify unusual activity on a computer, even if the threat isn't known about already. The second fundamental is, of course, to protect the edge of the network, and that is done with a firewall. And basically, if you think about it, the firewall is like the gate on your castle. You need to make sure that there's a gate on your castle in order to protect your castle from invaders. So the edge firewall is the piece of equipment that goes after your cable modem that protects your entire business. It's important to also have a firewall that not only inspects the traffic coming into your business, but also inspects the traffic going out of your business so that they can catch, if somebody accidentally does activate ransomware on your network, it can be stopped before it tries to go out for the encryption. And lastly, the last fundamental is that you should monitor your network and have network visibility. So there's lots of companies now that have come out here. They will stick a device on your network. Two companies that come to mind, Darktrace and Carbon Black. Basically, they will give you visibility into your network, let you know if you have a computer that usually talks internally within your company, and all of a sudden one day that computer starts talking to computers in Russia or computers in Iran or some computer on the East Coast that it's never talked to. So those type of systems will alert you if all of a sudden something is unusual happening in your environment. So just a quick bit about Axiom Cyber Solutions. I won't try to turn this into a sales pitch, but we are a local Las Vegas cybersecurity company. We have developed automated threat protection platform that includes hardware. We are only a phone call away, 702-857-7470, and I'll turn it back over to Danica for any questions that people might have.
Yeah, if you do have a question, you can type it into the chat box in the bottom left corner of your screen, or if you're only listening in on your phone, you can press *7 on your phone to unmute your line. Just a quick question for me, just out of curiosity. You had said for the ransomware that healthcare was the most targeted industry. Why do you
Up
think
until
that
recently,
is?
yeah. So up until recently, it was just, I think about 2 weeks ago, it came out that education is now the most targeted industry. But with ransomware against healthcare organizations, there's a real threat to life in ransoming a hospital. If you are able to hit a hospital with ransomware, the likelihood that the hospital or the healthcare center would pay to get their files back is very high because of the critical operations of the business. They know, like Hollywood Presbyterian, they had to divert ambulances away because they couldn't intake patients when their computer systems are down. So just the nature of relying on the computer systems for the business makes healthcare a very attractive target for cyber criminals. And then there's also been a lot of debate within the hacker community of the ethics of targeting healthcare, just because there is a risk to life in targeting those businesses.
Interesting. I had no idea. Well, it doesn't look like we have any questions coming in. Just want to remind everyone, if you do have questions after the webinar, feel free to give Axiom a call. Their phone number is on the screen, and or you can always give us a call at the chamber and we'll get you Shannon's information. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I want to thank Shannon again and Axiom Cyber Solutions for hosting this webinar. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
No problem. And just a quick reminder, if you want to continue on your Chamber University series, we are actually having a 2-part Chamber University series starting next Friday. We are having the first session, and it will be all about the new Department of Labor regulations. There's such a big topic right now. So if you would like to sign up for that, contact the Chamber. Otherwise, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you all next Friday.